Hey, did you watch that Power Rangers movie last year? You probably didn't. And that's a shame, kind of. Look, the film's not a home run, but it's a fascinating little blockbuster that shares a unique relationship with its source material. It's a mix of different approaches to the Power Rangers brand, shape-shifting from a John Hughes drama to a traditional superhero origin story and beyond. Does it succeed? Maybe not as much as Saban or Lionsgate wanted, but that's not to say the film was a total wash. In fact, if there's one thing this box office disappointment has over its contemporaries, it's in the opposition, because good God, did Power Rangers deliver a worthy antagonist. See, unlike other, better 2017 superhero flicks like Logan or Wonder Woman, where the villains are completely sidelined or mostly forgotten in favor of the protagonist, Power Rangers does the complete opposite with its emerald-colored adversary. Having no prior connection to the franchise, I only knew about the most recognizable face in the Ranger Rogues gallery from passionate fans online. But I had no idea Elizabeth Banks' performance as the famous Rita Repulsa would completely overwhelm, override, and overtake literally everything else in the movie. The film may be named after the Mighty Morphers, but this is Rita's movie, and today I'm gonna talk about why. Grab your gold and get set to go green, because it's time to conquer Earth. Translations of popular children's characters, there's no way I can talk about the new without also mentioning the old. So before we take a thorough look at Rita Banks, let's first acknowledge the combined efforts of Machiko Soga, Barbara Goodson, Carla Perez, and Julia Cortez as the original Rita Repulsa on the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers television show. Rita 1.0 is...
I don't see you doing any better, Radiator Face!
Well, she's very... she...
I got such a headache!
Okay, look, I'm not even sure if it's possible to bring this flesh and blood cartoon character into a high-budget reimagining of the Mighty Morphin mythos. No disrespect to OG Rita, of course. I could watch her grumble and snarl all day, she's so entertaining.
What you put in your body is important, and he's about to get the special PETA from Rita!
But from the get-go, 2017's Power Rangers was not aiming to closely replicate the same high-camp escapades that defined the Super Sentai superimposed series. Because Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was a mishmash of American sitcom antics and repackaged Japanese action, Rita's actors, and every performer on the show for that matter, had to visually communicate her character in a way so loud and expressive, two different young audiences on two different sides of the Pacific Ocean could understand her.
That's what I like about her. She's a real people's person.
This is why OG Rita acted the way she did. International conveyance was the name of her game. But E. Banks over here? No, she didn't have that same responsibility. This modern reimagining of the Power Rangers franchise had no intention of recapturing the show's notoriously over-the-top spirit.
Let's do this, for real. I'm Zach, and I am a Power Ranger.
Hi, Zach.
Hi, Zach.
As such, her take on Rita is an entirely different kind of alien conqueror. In fact, Banks has said to have based her performance not on the original Rita, but on the most famous green-skinned magic user in cinema history, Margaret Hamilton's Wicked Witch of the West.
The last to go will see the first three go before her.
You can tell me now, Blue, or you can tell me after I kill all of your friends.
I mean, if you want to revamp a greedy old space witch for a PG-13 movie, leaning on the witch angle is definitely a solid way of going about it. But it goes beyond just one angle or approach. Like I mentioned earlier, Power Rangers is an odd specimen of a movie, particularly in how it handles its genre. As opposed to framing the story and characters within one or two specific tones, it reverses the roles, allowing the story and characters to shape the ever-changing genre. The film starts as a high school drama you'd see on the CW, but as it continues, it molds into a modernized, less expressive version of the classic TV show, flirting with magical realism and old-school superhero cinema storytelling along the way. Most of the Mighty Morphin genre changing is informed by our 5 heroes and their collective quest to become worthy of their iconic suits. But Rita does the same all by herself. and her journey takes the film's tone and genre to some interesting places. Allow me to walk you through that journey, and we'll see how she twists and contorts the film in her own special way.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Originally a green Power Ranger, Rita betrays and murders her teammates before getting blasted into a space coma. That's what it is, a space coma, because she's from space. All right. Eons later, she's discovered in the present day at the bottom of the sea, depowered and dehumanized. Upon awakening, she escapes from captivity and starts hunting for gold, the source of her power, wherever she can, by any means necessary. The first time we get a full look at Rita Repulsa is during a nightmare sequence, wherein the newly titled Power Rangers are given a glimpse into a possible dystopian future for their city. The jagged editing, the bleak imagery, that intense screech. Our introduction to Rita mirrors that of a creature feature, far removed from the cheese-powered presence that defined the original. Next, we see her in a homeless camp, speaking in dulcet delusions about her gold gathering, like a transient on a subway.
I need gold. I build my beautiful Goldar. Goldar takes the Zeo crystal, I take the universe.
The scene even ends with a classic shot of shadowed brutality, a tried and true form of cinematic horror language. As she grows more powerful and learns of the new Rangers, Rita becomes less a hungry humanoid creature and more a confident queen of suffering.
Are all the Rangers on Zordon's new team as young as you?
Delightful.
Though she still retains that horror angle, all the way up until the final battle. In fact, her transformation from a monster into a mock monarch is reflected in how she handles the Rangers. She starts joking around and creating bigger entrances, but she never stops being a legitimate threat to the team.
No, please, you're hurting me. You're so strong.
I'm just kidding.
Be real with me for a second. What other superhero movie villain just casually hangs one of the protagonists without breaking a sweat? Yeah, she goes there, folks. It's ridiculous.
You're not ready to kill me. You're not worthy.
By the time the climactic third act battle begins and Rita summons her 24-karat kaiju, the film has become her playground. She sheds her horror influences and emerges a modernized version of the classic Rita from the show. And it all clicks together nicely.
What you have? It can't last. You know I'm right.
All of this describes how the film treats Rita Repulsa as a player in its plot. But if you want this character-driven genre bending to work, you have to make sure the actor playing the character has the muscle to carry the film atop their shoulders. And boy, oh boy, did Elizabeth Banks rise to the occasion.
This. Give it to me.
I've been big on Banks for a while, and though she's mostly known for her over-the-top turns as Effie Trinket in the Hunger Games Saga, or Gale in the Pitch Perfect trilogy, it's kind of amazing how her best-known roles downplay her incredible charisma. Of course, that isn't to discount her other popular role as Avery Jessup on 30 Rock, where her sense of dominance created a fantastic counterpart to Alec Baldwin's Jack Donaghy.
If we're going to move forward, you better figure out what it is you want. Soon.
This is an actor who plays with power and poise better than most others in her field. When she was first announced to play Rita Repulsa, many fans assumed the decision to be classic villain stunt casting, in the vein of the old-school Batman movies. But as we see in the film, Banks has the power game and physicality perfect for a villain as theatrical as Rita Repulsa. After watching Power Rangers, I am 1000% convinced. Banks was born to play the bad guy. And I'm shocked she hasn't been typecast as blockbuster villains before this.
Because I'm going to kill you. One by one until you tell me, where is my crystal?
Then again, why would you typecast her with this kind of range? Ironically, she could probably pull off an accurate depiction of Rita 1.0 just fine without changing much, if you look at her filmography. But instead, she went for something more all-encompassing, and the film is all the better for it. You want a charismatic evil queen? You got it. You want a lightweight horror monster? No problem. You want some of the dumbest and most iconic lines in the Power Rangers canon delivered with genuine gravitas? Banks has you covered. Honestly, if you can take a phrase as hilariously worded as "make my monster grow" and erase the accidental second meaning just through your line delivery, you're a legend. Full stop.
Make my monster grow.
Elizabeth Banks brought absolutely everything she could to the table, and man oh man did it pay off. It's been a long time since I last saw a single actor don so many different masks while wearing the same costume. In classic hero versus villain storytelling, you have a whole toolset of ways to up the stakes. But few stories give its villain the power to change a film's tone and style to measure their might.
We don't know.
No, Red. You don't know. But guess what? One of you does.
What we have here is something very unexpected and very special. In a genre that famously struggles with proper antagonists, Rita Repulsa, of all characters, obliterates expectations and confidently claims her place among the greatest adversaries the superhero movie institution has ever seen. Power Rangers may fade into obscurity as yet another nostalgia property adaptation marred by shaky filmmaking and rough screenplay, but at least it led to an outstanding performance. So powerful, she bent the film itself to her will. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see